In Chapter 5, I explain how there's a connection between vice regulation and the male duty to provide resources for women and children. And I basically argue that what prompts many of these regulations is a fear that men who engage in these vices will not be able to provide for their families. And you see this fear manifested in many activist movements, whether you're talking about the temperance movement or the muckraking endeavors of the progressive era. In the book, I use a very colorful character as an example, a woman known as Carrie A. Nation. She was a well known anti alcohol, anti tobacco, pro women's suffrage crusader. She would go into these bars with a hatchet and destroy the inventory. So, a very fascinating individual. She wrote a book called The Use and Need of the Life of Carrie A. Nation. And I'm going to read a passage from her book because I think it offers insight into these fears that prompt much of this regulation. But she basically says as follows: I finally came to the Carrie Hotel, next to which was called the Carrie Annex or Bar. The first thing that struck me was the life-size picture of a naked woman opposite the mirror. It is very significant that the pictures of naked women are in saloons. Women are stripped of everything by them. Her husband is torn from her. She is robbed of her sons, her home, her food, and her virtue. And then they strip her clothes off and hang her up bare in these dens of robbery and murder. Well, does a saloon make a woman bare of all things? Well, this is fascinating. And this shows how much of her fear of promiscuity and substance abuse was prompted by a fear that there'd be a resulting loss of resources for women and children. And I'm not making light of those fears by any means, but it's so important to point them out because there is this perception that the law overregulates women, and specifically overregulates women for the benefit of men. But we see in many cases just the opposite, that the law regulates men for the benefit of women and children.